Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gamers Social Club Weekly News Podcast. We are recording on Friday, the 29th of August, 2025. That's right, we're recording this a little bit later during the day or afternoon, a rainy afternoon here in the UK, just so we could get together as a team to talk with you, obviously, about what's been going on, catch you up on some things. Uh, I am your host, as always, Harry, aka Neighbors Crayfish, and back with me from our excursions to Gamescom is uh, Only Daggers, No Empathy, it's Lady V.
Hello. Yeah, that's definitely the way around that
I
goes.
know,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Whenever I come back from a break, I'm rusty, and you guys like to point that out, and that's really nice. Thanks.
Well, the listeners will notice. Our core group of listeners will notice.
Yeah.
Steve will be in the comments being like, "That's the wrong way round." Like,
Do it again. Uh, no Empathy, Only Daggers, it's Lady V. How are you, V?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm fully recovered from being at Gamescom. It was a very long weekend. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm. It
Maybe
was.
that we gave ourselves too much to do while we were there, but it was very good fun.
Indeed, it was. It was a special experience. First time being there and going there as press as well, all in one go. Pretty mad. Um, and yes, of course, the man who held down the fort whilst we were away, the greatest showman I know, it's Adam, aka Oh No Not Addy. How are you,
Hi,
how are you doing, my friend?
I'm all right, thank you. Yes, I feel like I've just about recovered from Gamescom, even though I wasn't there, because there's a lot of coverage and news and stuff. But yeah, no, it's good to see you. And I'm looking forward to hearing about uh, all things Gamescom from you
Indeed.
guys.
We look forward to hearing about all the games you've been playing, obviously, because you've been very busy with that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah, we'll get into that.
Oh,
Of course,
it's to play games.
of course, this is the Gamers Social Club Weekly News Podcast, where we get together to talk with you about gaming news and things that have been going on in the sort of gaming sphere. The Gamers Social Club is a sort of independent outlet. We are a couple members of it. We have a website called www.gamersocialclub.ca, where we do all of our writing covering games with news, previews, reviews, interviews, editorials, and guides, and anything else we can think of. We have three pillars to how we do everything here. We are a sort of grassroots independent sort of outlet, so we are not sort of under any sort of affiliates or anything like that. We are all funded by the passion and love of the game and sharing that with you. Number two, we run all of our news through a rumor-free filter. So anything you're getting from us, is factually correct, and we're not messing around with any hearsay on the internet. And we will do our best to keep it up to date going forward as best we can. And third and final is that any game that we review, we will see through to the credits. We will make sure we finish it. And if that is not possible, we will play it as much as we can before giving you our opinions and thoughts on the game for our review and our score, of course, that comes with that. You can find us on all the social platforms in general. All of this sort of stuff and information will be down below in the description. So that's for all our personal socials as well as those for the site. We also have our other podcasts on our YouTube channel here, which are the Gamer Social Club Party Chat, which happens on the weekends, and also the Gamer Social Club Girl Pod, which goes up every Monday, if I'm correct.
Yep.
Which
Every
features,
Monday.
there we go, which is with Lady V and Candy. And the party chat is with Nathan and Phrase normally. So yeah, you can check up on all that material over on the channel. If you like today's video, please leave a like. If you have any feedback for us, or just want to share your thoughts on anything, or anything at all, really, drop it in the comments below. And yeah, if you'd like to see more content like this, obviously visit the channel and consider subscribing. I think that is what we like to call the rigmarole out the way. Normally I forget something and I'll drop it in midway through, I'm sure. But yeah, otherwise, anything else you can find below, including anything that we referenced over from the site, article-wise, we have all our links down there. So please go and check that out. And yeah, everything will also be timestamped for this episode. So yeah, I think with that out the way, let's go into our first segment as always, which is what have we been playing? And I think it's only fair, given how much I are likely to talk about that we let Adam have first crack at this. since he's also been very busy.
That's so nice.
Don't make me regret my decision.
I would have thought so. Oh, well, I've been playing quite a bit. I've had thankfully I have cat sitting, that's why I'm not in my usual locale. So I've got the week off, so I've been able to catch up on some games, which has been quite fun. I finished Mafia, the old country, the story. It was excellent. Really enjoyed it. It felt like a classic 360 third person narrative shooter game, but like with all the mod cons of today, with like the really good graphics and the facial animations and the voice acting, and everything was just so on it. The music was excellent, and just really enjoyed the story. Yeah, it was a really good story. Would very much recommend. And for the price it is, it's totally worth it. You definitely get bang for your buck there. So I finished that, and I started playing Kill the Brickman, which is mad. But it's I can't remember the name of the developer, but it's published by Ponkel, who became a publisher. The guys who made Vampire Survivors. This is their first published game, I think, that's not them. And the idea is you have to kill the Brickman, and it's kind of like I can't remember what it's called. The game where you've got the thing that goes like that on the floor, and you hit the ball up and it hits the brick breaker. Yeah, it's like that, but you don't have a thing that moves along the floor, so you control where you fire bullets. You choose the bullets, and your bullet. It's like a roguelike turn-based shooter puzzle sort of thing. So you've got to destroy all the brickmen. You've got like a certain number you've got to destroy, and you pick your bullets, and each bullet has different ability. It can do extra damage. It can have more bounce. It can do like corrosive damage and stuff like that. And you've got to like fire it off and kill different enemies. And as you get through each level, you get money to buy new bullets or abilities or relics or stuff like that. So then you get to the next one. The idea is just to kill the brickman over and over. And it gets increasingly more difficult. There's things to unlock. You can level up your guns. You start with a pistol, but you can get like a shotgun and stuff like that. And it's really kind of like it's one of those games where you want, I just want another go. I can beat him this time, sort of thing. And obviously, the more you play, the more items you unlock, the more you progress, and when you get locked in with a really cool setup, you're like, oh, this is cool. So like you get to wave 10, you defeat the boss, and you can go into endless mode, or you can like restart and take on the next chapter with different sets of enemies and stuff. It's mad, but really fun. So I would recommend it. It's like £4. So it's well worth buying because it's next to nothing anyway. Super fun. So there's that. I also picked up. Yeah, very different. I started playing Gears of War Reloaded. I never got my free code, even though I should have done. I'm a bit annoyed about that, but obviously I got Game Pass. It's fine. So me and a friend have just run the campaign on Insane because we love Gears, and we decided to do that. And we're at the last half of Act 5, which is the final act. So we've powered through that. It's very satisfying to play again. And it's just lots of fun memories. The music is delightfully brilliant, and just listening to Marcus Phoenix fuck about with his chainsaw, and yeah, it's just great. It's just really cool to be back in that. And I played the Ultimate Edition. I played the original, played the Ultimate Edition, and I like played again. I said it with well, I tend not to go back to games if I finish them, or like if I'm done with them. Like all the achievements are done. There's enough games on my plate. But if a new version comes out with more achievements, I'm fucking playing it. So like, relax. I'm the problem because I would replay Bioshock if they released it again, just with a new set of achievements. Let me play it again. I don't know. I'll just do it. But yeah, it's great. It's just super good. It looks amazing, and it's great to see people in the multiplayer again. And that's just fun. I've had a couple goes in that. First game went really well. Happy with that. Second game was full of PC sweats, and I was like, "We'll turn off crossplay. We'll make it just console." I am playing with those knobheads, so they can fuck about with themselves. I don't care. I will have to play with some other console people, but nah. Like there's some people will do because obviously they'll do a swivel and then they've already killed you before you've even figured out what's going on. I'm not playing that. So that was fun as well. I think that's it. I'm playing something else now, which I'm reviewing, but I don't think I can talk about it. I'm not sure if I'm allowed. I don't know what the rules are. But
no,
yeah.
You're not allowed to talk about it. Don't break embargo, Addy.
Is it breaking embargo to say that you're playing something for review?
This is what
I
feel like.
It can. Did you get a press kit, Addy? Because it usually tells you in the press kit
Yeah.
if you're allowed to talk about it or not. Some games are quite happy for you to say, "Oh, I'm reviewing this." Some games insist upon it. Actually, a lot of Xbox titles they ask you to take a screenshot of the title screen and post it to let people know that you're reviewing it and you were provided a code from Xbox.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of other places are like, "Don't talk about this. This game doesn't exist. You know, no existing for you." Like,
I believe I
like,
remember seeing Marcus do it when we got. I think because he do Avowed,
yeah.
and I believe he did that. He actually had a photo
thing
of his
saying people
TV, with Avowed up on it. You know, so
I don't know why people just take a photo of just the TV. I'd be totally selfie in that. I'm like, what? Yeah, well, like
But I
really obnoxious YouTube frames like the Dreamcast guy does or something like that. With like,
Perfect.
Xbox is dead, and he's like that.
No, but so when it comes to the Gears of War Reloaded, then is is there extra content with that as well, or is it just
No,
a big
it's
visual?
the same game that was Gears of War Ultimate Edition that released whenever that released on Xbox One.
Mhm.
The only difference is it's like it's 4K, 4K, super pretty visuals. There's no loading screens in the campaign,
Wow.
so it's a bit disjointing actually because you think, oh, well, I must be at the end of the chapter, and then it's just straight into the next chapter. They're like, oh, that's nice, it's smooth. But I don't think there's much else apart from that. Obviously they've got PlayStation. It's on PlayStation now, so they've there's cross-play across all platforms, and they've made it so you can play console only, or with everybody, so you can play against just the PlayStation people, which is obviously a lot of people have experienced it for the first time. There's some killing to be had.
you're like
Refresh me.
switch off crossplay for the PC sweats, but you're like, but fuck you, PlayStation people that have never played this game before.
Yeah,
I am
exactly.
like,
I need 10,000 kills for seriously. What am I supposed to do? I can't do it against PC sweats. I can't fucking.
Well, of course, it's come at the best time as well because we've got obviously Helldivers 2 that's now launched as well on
I've had
Xbox.
a couple of goes on that as well, which is there's a lot of there's a lot I didn't know what was going. You know, when you first jump into a game and you're like it's multiplayer and you don't want to come across as like incompetent, so you just follow around people like. Please show me what to do. I don't want to do the wrong thing. Get it wrong, please. And that was me in the first couple of games, just following people who like level 100 or whatever. Like they were chads. They were just guiding us through, like, oh yeah, this is how it works. So they were like, this is how it should be working, I suppose. Like introducing you to the game, the concept, and they were like super cool. Like, oh yeah, this is what we do. So use that for. There's a jetpack key from to use it. I'm like, oh man, these guys are awesome. They're like tour guides for the game. Like.
The Helldivers community, even if it's like the little bits that have come up from like, getting upset over like what happened with the PlayStation, accounts and stuff like that. Like in general, I think the actual like playing community when you're in the game is amazing. Like everybody's just very happy to play with whoever from a level 1 to whatever the cap is, if there even is a cap, I don't know. People just dive in together and everyone's the same. You're all the same when you're covered in bug guts and there are dead automatons all around you and things like that. We're all equal.
and very similar experience playing the co-op in Space Marine 2. Me and I played more of it than my friend, but the first match that he jumped in with me, we had like a guy who'd obviously been hammering out the game for many, many hours, and he just kept pinging things and be like, oh, there's an upgrade thing over here. Like follow me. Like, come on. Like, we're going to go over and do things. We're like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, yay. Thank you. I have no idea what I'm fucking doing. Like,
Games should be nice. See?
Oh, yeah. I think there's only very specific communities that I think are like really sweaty and pretty shit. But, I've not played Helldivers yet. I've owned it since it came out on PC, but I've still not played it. But, we had the same when we played Night Rain, Addy. Like, occasionally, you get people, and we all don't know what we're doing. But then, the first time I think we beat the Night Lord all together, it was like just this one guy who was obviously an absolute chad, and he was like, no, come on, we'll be fine. We're going to do this. Like, come with me. I know where everything is. Like,
I had a run that the other week, and I literally, I would describe him as a Giga Chad, and he was like the ultimate Chad. He was an absolute legend. So he guided us through one of the kind of cities that the place shifts around and it's a different environment. There's a city appears. And
Yeah.
he just had the
Noxtella?
yeah, something like that,
Yeah.
and they just knew where to go, and we took to the enemies, and we found the secret boss, and we got the hidden thing here, like, and then we beat the boss, and we beat the guy. Like, this is the best run I've ever had. That guy's an absolute legend. It was really cool. He knew his shoes like fucking, I don't know, what, a navigator or something. Just like, yeah. You should pay it, like let me solo her, but for just navigating you. Very cool.
Are you excited by the announcement of that new Night Rain like super hard mode that's being just no.
No, I've got two achievements left to get. I've got to win with 2 more characters, and then the last one is get all the achievements. So I've like nearly finished it, and I've done more DLC, some new stuff maybe, but I'm happy with what I've experienced because some of those bosses are already fucking hard enough. So yeah, but I'll obviously jump on if anybody wants to play, obviously. So no, we haven't really got back to it yet.
Maybe you can be the navigator for others.
I've ascended to Giga Chad if I know where the fuck I'm going.
I'm just happy enough that I know what the weapon passives and all that do now. Because I feel like the first couple of times we played it, it was just like, oh, this looks cool. And it's like, oh no, you can make yourself super overpowered by building your character correctly. It's just like, you're Raider, this great axe is for you. Like, I've found great axe. Please give me a katana. I'm playing Executor. Like, please.
I love an Executor.
Oh yeah. Well, that sounds like you've got a nice variety going on there, man. You know, credit to you. A lot of good gaming there, definitely.
Yeah,
and
it's nice to actually play some games, which has been quite nice.
Indeed.
Not felt like I've had the time recently.
Yeah. Indeed. And then of course, V and I were out at Gamescom, so we'll talk a bunch about what we were playing there. But I wanted to drop in quickly that I have been playing Ultros. On the on the gentle demands of Lady V, those I think are to the GSC community and the Discord as a whole. She had put out the call several times for people to play Ultros, quite rightly. And after actually meeting the writer of the game, Pella, if I'm saying that correctly. Who obviously V was in contact with whilst we were there and happened to be there for other meetings, chatting with him, and eventually was like, well, I've got to play this now. He's great fun, lovely man, and yeah, the game is incredible from what I played, but just wanted to chuck that up before we dive into all of our other gaming stuff. V, is there anything you want to chuck out beforehand? You've obviously got stuff where you're playing in your free time.
No, not really. I did start. I don't actually have a lot of free time. September is starting to look very, very busy from a site perspective. I did, after a conversation that Harry and I had while we were at Gamescom about Assassin's Creed, I did download Assassin's Creed Mirage, which I bought ages ago. And then it went on a Game Pass, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, like, I bought this for money. But yeah, it's very fun. I will say that I don't know if it's just because I've not played an Assassin's Creed game in ages, but good fucking lord, the start of it is so slow. There's like 4 different tutorials. It's like, oh yeah, you do your pickpocketing tutorial and your free running tutorial, and that's fine. And then you go to like a different area, and it's like, oh, this is how you do stuff. And I'm like, you just showed me how to fucking do this. What do you mean? Like, just like, what are you talking about? I know how to do it. Like, it's fine. Like, let me play the game. Like, so it's like you hit credits for the game starting. A little bit like Origins, I think, is the one that always springs to mind. And the fact that there's like 3 hours of gameplay before the title screen arrives. But it's 3 hours of actual gameplay, not 3 hours of like tutorializing me. And I'm like, you need to have a toggle for this. Like, surely. Like, I've played an Assassin's Creed game before. I know you just hold down the button and run. Like, for fuck's sake, let me play the game. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, that's the only thing that I have been playing outside of all of the work we have to do from Gamescom stuff.
Yes. Yeah. obviously, speaking of Gamescom stuff, we are.
Just
Jesus fucking Christ, Daddy. I almost spat my beer all over my keyboard.
I was like, using that as a point because you're changing topic, and I really need to go to the loo. So can we pause quickly? I was using that to stop it, but now I feel like we need to keep that in because it was funny.
Oh no, we're keeping that in, but you can also go to the bathroom as well. That's fine.
Oh, thank you. Yes. I will do that.
Right. Should we jump back in with like a clap, as it were? Just mark them down.
There you go. There's your clap.
That's the clap. So yeah, V and I were at Gamescom, and we're going to run you through some of the stuff that we did whilst we were there. We got in pretty early. We actually flew out very early from the UK, getting about a 9 o'clock flight, I think it was. So we had to get pretty early to get there for Heathrow.
Yeah, it was like 8:30 our flight
Yeah.
from Heathrow. Yeah.
Yeah, and we got in just after 11,
Mhm.
and we then had to split because V was kind enough to take both our suitcases to our hotel, whilst I went to my first appointment, which was at 12:30. So I had to go straight from the airport to Gamescom, and just hope that it was smooth sailing getting in, which thankfully it was. I was worried at first with going past the security guards because they were like, "Do you have your ticket?" and I just sort of flashed the the stuff we had on our emails and things like that. They're like, "Yeah, that's fine, go through." And then she got to a desk, got given an actual like press badge type thing, got a lanyard, and we were in, which is great. And then found my first appointment, which was a hands-off demo with Hell is Us, and getting to do that with the technical designer, who I happened to chat with a bit whilst he was playing, whose name was Simon Girard. We had a lovely time chatting about Hell is Us. Got to see a little bit past what is available on the demo on console and PC, and I did a little bit of a write-up, which is now up on the site, so you can go and check that out. It's also going to be linked below. But then, obviously, after that, I had a bit of a break. I don't think V and I met up until after my second appointment and your first or second appointment. I can't remember what time. What time did you get to Gamescom? Because I didn't see you get in, obviously.
I got there about just after 1. My first appointment was at 1:30. For Kumarn, the Wandering Spirit, which I have also done. So I got a hands-on preview with that, which was very, very good fun.
Very cool.
Very heavily inspired by Little Nightmares. And I got to have a really fun conversation with the devs. So that's all up on the site now. But it's Little Nightmares inspired, but it's also inspired by Thai like folklore. So when I was talking to them, they were talking about the fact that Thailand has like a very rich like horror culture, and they wanted to make a game tying that in with Thai folklore, but the lead dev isn't a fan of like really scary games.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so he's like, I wanted to make something that sort of celebrated the culture of Thai horror and also or mythology and folklore, but didn't want to do something like a Resident Evil or anything like that he couldn't enjoy personally. So thought a Little Nightmare style where it's creepy and it's eerie and there's like some scares in it, but it's not so scary that people like me, who is a gigantic baby, if you've listened to any of the Girl Pod or read any of my horror reviews, you'll know, can't actually play the game and enjoy. And they had it's got its little mascot. It's like this tiny zebra, this little spirit zebra who's super cute, and they had some of them on the booth that they were giving to people. But I was like, I have to go. I've got another appointment, so I forgot to pick up my tiny zebra. I'm quite sad. Like
that is a shame.
Yeah.
That would have been. I believe they're called Zeb, if I remember from reading the press release stuff. Super cute design, and I love the main character design as well. And from the screenshots, the game looks really cool. So very jealous of you for getting hands on with that. But real quick as well, speaking of little things like that from Hell is Us, and this actually happens to be my favorite.
Harry got much better merch than me. I got really bad merch.
I was very pleased with this. I'd already read it on when they released it originally a couple of weeks ago, which is the sort of digital comic prequel to the game, and I got a physical version of the Hell is Us comic, which I think is very cool, and it probably will just stay inside this forever. I think that's how I'm going to treat it. Maybe get it signed by the devs one day or something like that. That'd be cool. But yeah, the Kumarn game looks very cool.
I really like the concept. In my head of the hands-off preview.
Yeah.
It's like the idea of loads of controllers being there, and you want to grab one and like, no, hands off.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can't play. Stop it.
Instinctively reach for it, and they're looking. You're like, oh yeah, sorry, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Point to the sign. No touching.
No touching.
Yeah.
No. That's really weird to me that it was hands off though. Like, it's because the demo is out, the game is out like next week. What? Like, why can't?
Yeah.
What's the? I guess my curiosity is, what's the reason for having a hands-off thing? Is that because there's a lot of technical things they want to guide you through in your appointment? Could you play it on the show floor, for example? Is that?
No, that's the thing. Yeah, it was one of those ones that wasn't available on the show floor. So obviously the demo they have out, which is kind of the tutorial to the game, or like the introduction to the game, gives you like the basic fundamentals of the majority of the gameplay. And then what I got to see and what I cover in my article with Simon was more about like, oh, this is how you're going to get into like upgrading weapons. This is about the fact that we've got like over 100, we've got 160 fully voiced NPCs. Here are some better examples. Here are some examples of how we have used like, in particular, there was a phrase that he used that really stuck with me, which I imagine people will hear more about as the game comes out, which is their sort of ethos on game design, which is called player plattering, as they put it, which instead of it being like silver plattering, where you kind of just offer everything up to the players, so like just give them the tools to fix everything, whether it's done like in a Metroidvania or in other games. It's much more about the idea that like you already have all the tools at your disposal because you have a functioning brain, you know, all this sort of stuff. You are able to work out from picking up the environmental clues, from talking to NPCs and gaining information from them, and then going through that information and tying it up on your, you don't manually do all this, but like your little tablet will like collate information and tie it together in like investigations and such. And from that, you will then be able to work out like, oh, it says here I need to head north to reach this point where I'll then find this thing. And so I need to look for this when I reach the northern part of this area. And he was showing me different parts of like the environmental design and how we've used a spotlight to like, highlight this one particular NPC as you approach this location, make it very obvious you should speak to them. They're an important figure clearly. So go talk to them and you'll get more information that'll help you with the main quest, other quests which are not flagged as quests. And again, that was something else he talked about, was like, you have your main objectives and stuff like that you're here to do as Remy, but otherwise, like, you can interact with people and you may not realize it, but you've learned something about a situation that could result in like a whole chain of events that you could do, like finding a dungeon. Or again, his example was this chap playing guitar, and you speak to him and he's only got one song and he knows the guards are getting fed up with him playing this one song. Never at any point does a thing pop up on screen going, group find 0 of 20 scrolls hidden throughout Hadia for music sheet. And there's nothing like that. There's nothing in your, quest log or anything like that. It's simply the idea that you will find music out there in the world and you'll be able to bring it back to him and he'll be able to play other songs. It's that sort of stuff. It's very much like just use, put the information that's given to you that you can readily find more often than not and solve it yourself because you are capable of doing that. That was kind of what they were trying to do. And I think, having a more curated example of that from a developer is better.
It's hard to see everything they've got to offer in a game when you're playing it in a particular moment of the game, isn't it?
Yeah. And in particular with that like intro of the game, the demo, you can see it when you leave the demo area, if ever people played it, is that you play through the main starting area, which is pretty linear, and then you open out onto this big like open marshland, and then it fades to black. And we were running around that marshland, so it's this big open environment where it's like, if you just let us run around in there, that's really cool and fun to see, and we could talk about more of the fun and cool stuff we saw. But that's then probably not going to get out how many NPCs that they've got fully voiced. There's not going to get across like all the cool environmental like bits that they want to show off and stuff like that. So having that curated like hand-led kind of guide through a game, which is
us.
Yeah, exactly. This hand-led sort of journey through the game, which is all about not holding your hand, was rather interesting. So really, really enjoyed that. And then after that, went into, let me remember correctly, my interview with one of the members of the team working on Dying Light, The Beast. That would be, if I got the gentleman's name here, Nathan Lemaire, the game director, funny enough. And we chatted for a bit about Dying Light, The Beast, and I also got to play it later on in the day, which was quite weird. It was sort of doing the interview first and asking questions and then playing, actually getting hands-on with the game much later in the day. But we had a fun little chat, and that is not up yet on the site, but I'm currently working on that right now. Safe to say it's an interesting one, I think, because I am not someone who is very familiar with the series at all, really. I haven't played either one or two. I know of it, and I know it's very popular. But at the same time, I was like, hey, what is it that you're bringing to the table for a player like me? You know, am I going to feel out of depth because this is with a character that pre-exists this game and that other players will have more information on, like what is going on here, and you know, all sorts of stuff like that. So more to come on that down the line. And then
did you enjoy it though?
Hmm?
Did you enjoy it? You said you got to play it, but did you enjoy it?
My experience when playing it was interesting because I found what I assumed to be the sort of default control settings, like where you know how it's all set up, to be quite jarring, because you know you had it set up so that you have these sort of Dying Light kind of like signature kick that you have on the A button if you're looking at Xbox controller. There was then the jump button on the right shoulder button, and then attack with weapon with the right trigger. And to me, I'm like, A should have been like the sort of the jump, the not the other way around, if you see what I mean. Like I felt like the kick and the attack should have been up on the shoulder and trigger button, and my jump should have been down on the A button, and things like that felt very out of the ordinary for me.
Yeah, because the whole thing with Dying Light, one of the big things, like the parkour system, is like you can get around really easily. And I wonder if like they must have tested it loads. But I wonder if like the most natural position for your hands to be in, where you need to have quick access, is where your hand is already on the press right bumper, and then you can kick if you need to get zombies away from you, so you can jump over them. And because like I remember massive, because like through the night in the original Dying Light, night is terrifying. Night is dark and full of terrors and all that. You're powering through it, you're jumping over the heads and climbing up stuff, and you need to be able to do that really seamlessly, I think. And I think it works really well. But if you've not played that, or you're first into the series, I think that probably will be very jarring.
It is a bit weird, yeah. And for me, it was sort of like, I'm struggling to know how to do this well. Like I haven't got like enough of a muscle memory of the games to know like I can reach that ledge by just straight jumping up. You know, I haven't got enough time with the game to know like what can I actually reach. How forgiving is the game with the parkour? Is it like if I'm like a foot away, it's going to just make me go whoop to it, or am I going to just smack down and yeah, you know what I mean? Like how without knowing that all that sort of stuff, I was a little bit more hesitant maybe in my movement as I would have been.
Did they not start you off like sort of midway through the game also? So if you played it from the start, it would be less full on.
Yes.
To try and get used to it.
Yeah. So I had, they put me at a point in the game, again, narratively, the idea is obviously like the character you play as, I forget the character's name, I'm sorry.
Kyle Crane.
Thank you. Crane, I remember was his surname. But like, he's obviously been sort of, you know, experimented on, that has this beast ability, which at the beginning of the game happens and he has no way of like controlling it. You can't just like stop it or like store it. It just happens and you just have to deal with it. At the point I was playing, I could activate it when it was charged up. So you'd obviously like you gain control of it and then you can use it. And so, yeah, I found like, for me, it was a case of like, I don't feel like I have a good enough understanding of what I can get away with in the game. Weapons, obviously, it was all durability based, and I didn't find like there was much difference between what weapon I was using. Zombies, if I was hitting them, seemed to just take the same amount of damage from anything I used. So whether it was like a slow wielded like spade to like a crowbar or something like that, it didn't really matter. 4 hits on average seemed to be what killed them. But I found myself just sort of running past a lot of them when I could, basically just running away from zombies because it didn't seem to kind of amount to anything, and just aiming for the next destination on the mission, which was like sort of like figuring out like a problem with the water pumps basically in the city, helping the survivors there. Like the water wasn't running anymore. I was going to go check all the different valves and that sort of thing. And then yeah, using the beast mode is very much like you just don't use your weapons and you just start slugging things basically. You just go kind of beast mode. Very much is the word. And that was cool. I would hope that there is more to it than just swinging your fists and being like big, and I think you can jump further and stuff like that. But like yeah, more often than not, I was not using, as he said, like, it's the sort that you can use to get away as well, because the night is still scary. The beast mode is not going to protect you at night in a way that's probably going to mean you can just like, oh yeah, the night doesn't mean anything anymore. It's like no, it's still going to have that same level of weight to it. So yeah, and I spoke to him about that in my interview as well, about the idea that as a team they've spent a lot of time practicing how to balance stuff with the day-night cycles and stuff like that, and what that brings to the game. And so bringing the beast mode in and like balancing that with the regular gameplay of like weapons and guns and stuff, like how do you make sure that players aren't just going to be like, oh, I just want to be the beast all the time, like that's way more fun, or whatever problems might arise. So yeah, that will be coming up in the next week or so. So you have that to look forward to. V, what about your next game?
Oh yeah, so the next game that I checked out was one that one of our other editors, Mark, is looking forward to, called God Save Birmingham. So I will say that this was like alpha gameplay, so it's very, very early on in the process of making the game. It's a survival game where you're in a medieval Birmingham that is covered in zombies. I am not a massive fan of survival games. I'll just put that out there. So potentially maybe not the best person to have went to the preview of it, but obviously there was only 2 of us there, so we had to work with what we had.
That's right.
It was, for an alpha game, actually, like there was not any big amount of like glitches and stuff like that from a functional standpoint, but it seemed incredibly punishing to me. So you just start off in a shack. You can pick up like an axe and stuff like that, and then you go out into a village square that is full of zombies. There's so many. So you then have to like try and find water. You have to try and find food. You have to try and find shelter and things like that. But I found it just very difficult to actually progress to do anything because there was just a huge amount of enemies everywhere. There was also sort of like a very weird technical, what I assume is a technical bug that will get sorted out. But sometimes when I went to hit zombies with my axe would bounce off them. It would make like a metallic clang, and I'm assuming that the zombies are not made of metal, so that probably shouldn't have been the case.
Yeah.
But I think there was obviously like a huge amount of depth and stuff like that seemed to be there in terms of the crafting. Like you can craft a cooking pot that you can then, if you find a fire, you can cook your food for better stats and stuff like that on it. But at the moment, just due to the fact that 1, I'm not really into survival games, and 2, it just seemed really, really punishing. I think there's more work to be done there. But it had a bit of promise to it. Like graphically, it looked really good. A lot of the movement and mechanics and stuff like that were pretty polished, considering how early on in development it is. So I think just once they start adding more things to it, like maybe some quests, the demo that I played of it was just like have a mess around, have a play, see what you can do, which was for me run and occasionally try and hit a zombie with axe and wonder where I could possibly find rope so I could make a cooking pot. But yeah, it would be interesting to see what they do with it. It was quite funny. I spoke to the devs afterwards, just very briefly, about why they chose Birmingham, because I think Mark had asked, and their response was It's because Birmingham's quite small, actually, so it was much easier to build Birmingham in the game rather than like a London or a Paris was the response, which I think was fun. But yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily my kind of game, but the gameplay that was there had a lot of promise to it. So hopefully, I mean, I'm sure if you can look at gameplay and stuff like that of it for people that was at Gamescom, or even just like online, there's gameplay trailers of some of the alpha footage. If you're into that sort of a game, it probably will appeal to you. For me, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm very confused. I'm being eaten by a zombie. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, so yeah, I think it must be very difficult for devs to show off games so early into development.
Yeah.
But you know,
they must have had some confidence in it if they were willing to show it early, because no one's making them go, are they? So
No.
oh no, absolutely. I think that's the thing. Like for alpha gameplay, you know, it was surprisingly polished. I wouldn't have expected, like, you know, apart from the weird bug when I was hitting zombies with my axe and it was bouncing off, like they were made of stone. You know, like there wasn't any like bugs or anything like that. Like the movement was smooth. Like the controls were pretty intuitive, especially the fact that by default it was mouse and keyboard, and I'm not generally a mouse and keyboard sort of a guy. But you know, just tabbing in and out of the menus and stuff was pretty intuitive. So yeah, I think they have shown off to the people that are into that sort of game. They've shown off enough that I think that people will be pretty excited about it when it comes out. Unfortunately, I'm just not the target audience for this game.
Fair. Yeah. I think at that point we had met up, if I remember correctly. Because I think I remember seeing you after God Save Birmingham. Because at that point you had your box.
My God Save Birmingham merch box. Yep.
Yeah.
That had that had a water bottle in it, a reusable water bottle, and some reusable like silicone Ziploc bags for like food and stuff. I don't know. It's like it was part of it. Yeah, to be fair, as part of the blurb in the box, it was like the devs were talking about sustainability and the environment and things, which I fully support, and I'm sure I will actually get some use out of this merch. It just seems completely like incongruent to the game. Like it's just like we're in medieval Birmingham. Like
you don't want to be open the box and there'd be like a zombie hand in there, do you? That's
no. At least I got something functional. Like
there's some cozy game somewhere that ordered from the same place and they got the wrong boxes and they've got like they've got bloody severed hands in theirs, and you've got these nice cute little like, you know, environmentally friendly little sachet things.
They did also give me a card that showed me where at Gamescom I could go and get spicy ramen, but we never found it. Like I mentioned this to you. And you were like, "Yeah, we need to go," and then we got distracted.
Well, it was very easy to get distracted at Gamescom. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to be fair, with Friday in particular, I think was our most sort of focused day, because we were there obviously for most of these quite big appointments with quite a few like games. Because then after that, I think we probably saw each other for like half an hour moments between, as I went into at that point, that would have been
Cronos, no?
Cronos, yeah. Going to an hour with Cronos: The New Dawn, which was fantastic. I had such a good time playing Cronos. That was amazing. As a fan of some horror games, I don't play all. I'm still not that familiar with like Resi and Silent Hill, and of course, I mean, Booba team behind us, and they made Silent Hill 2 remake. I was sort of interested to see how you know they keep progressing, because they seem to have gone from sort of strength to strength over the last few years. And I will say, having not played Silent Hill 2 remake, so take that into consideration, but I've played a lot of their other previous games like The Medium. Cronos feels the best, I think, of all the games they've made. The combat is really, really good. It's very tense. It's demanding in a way that I think just adds a real cool kind of energy to all the sort of combat situations you'll find yourself in, and has that kind of Bloober team flair to it, alongside their fantastic art direction and everything. But yeah, I played through again, what I believe to be the opening of the game with a cutscene and stuff like that, that frames sets everything up. You'll travel at N3 N3750, I think, or something like that, and you're going up after your predecessor, who is N5000, I believe it was, and you're going out there to find them in this sort of fractured, futuristic world, and being attacked by these grisly, disgusting, mutilated like bodies of some sort of biomass that lingers everywhere. And if they find corpses of themselves, they'll start merging with them, but they get all these tendrils all over them, like a coating that then like slurps over and starts like feeding off the corpse on the ground. Whether it's like an old corpse or a recently killed enemy, they'll do that to each other. They'll grow stronger again. But yeah, like the key thing is that in combat, your shots are, if you're going to fire your pistol, there's no kind of like backing out of it, because you have regular shots, regular rounds that you'll fire, which are very weak. But with your pistol and all your weapons, you can then hold it down to do charge shots, which are the ones you want to do to like kill your enemies quicker and try and get headshots with them. But if you're holding down a charge, if you release it at any point before the charge is full, you will just fire off a regular shot. So there's no like canceling out of it. And when you have fully charged your shot, it's not a case then of releasing the trigger to let it fire. It will fire when it's ready. So you have to be always trying to make sure that your next shot, that whatever it is you're doing, is lined up to hit. There's very little room for error, because again, you have limited resources, limited rounds, and it's all about repositioning yourself, using the environment as best you can. Or like, red canisters to shoot enemies up, weak to fire, or like stun living enemies, and dead enemies that will burn up their corpses so they can't be merged with. Super atmospheric, really, really cool world design. Love the Traveler's look and the weapons and just the whole aesthetic of it. And the two moments I really enjoy, because they're so kind of like, they introduce a really interesting kind of like polar opposite to each other, was at the beginning, when the Traveler's being woken after like traveling to the location, it seems, in their like vessel called the Rev capsule. They're woken by this sort of like very bored sounding, almost like despondent woman's voice, which is very robotic, but it can't hide the sound of them almost being like tired of having to go through this again, as they kind of go through this procedure of waking her up and kind of like being like, okay, hey, mission time, let's go. What does this say? Like, they start doing like psychological tests on you, almost like a sort of Rorschach, test, and like saying phrases at you to see what your responses are and stuff. And you can pick all these, and it just kind of gives you a sense of like the weirdness of this world and this kind of strange situation where you're being sent by this organization called the Collective to go and find people from the past and bring them back and extract them. And then compare that to later on, because during that whole sequence, your character is very sort of robotic. It's like a woman's voice, and she's very sort of robotic and monotone, and just sort of like almost sounds like that, like a stupor, or like just under like a kind of haze of some sort. And then later on, you find one of the cats you'll find in the game. These cats just somehow surviving, and there's a brief cutscene where she kneels down and pets it, and when she speaks to it, it's the first time that she has sounded like remotely kind of like normal and human. There's like actual inflection to her voice, and there's like a warmth to how she's talking to the cat, and it like leaves her an item for you, and she refers to it as being left a treat, which seems very out of character, because up until this point as well, she's been sort of noting down things that have happened as she's been progressing, because she's taking like an audio log of her events of all like the things that happen, but it's sparse. It's not happening constantly. It's not about puzzles, so it's not giving away stuff. It's purely about like, oh, biomass encountered, door is locked, must find another way, this sort of stuff. But she's always referring to herself in the past tense as well on these recordings, as if whenever someone finds them, obviously this is something that's happened in the past, or more than likely she's dead. And thus she's just sort of like, this is from my past life. This is what you'll find of me. This is what remains, which is really interesting. And then when she's talking with the cat, she's sort of in the moment and present, which is very interesting and very cool kind of dynamic to see in a very, very harrowing and sort of, pretty scary world that really pushes you. Like I felt it during that hour. I loved it. I totally get it. I hope it's not too tough for people, because it does, I think, demand that you have to be pretty good. And I'm by no means very good at third or first person shooters. But I think, again, if you're good at maneuvering around enemies in tight spaces, like if you're used to games like Dead Space and things like that, or no doubt the Resident Evil series and things, you will have a pretty decent time with this. I think more than a decent time. I think you'll have a great time with it. I'm pretty hopeful for that from my experience, definitely. And again, you can read about that in a much longer kind of deep dive of that hour over on the site, because I did that as well. So please check that out. And then, other than playing Dying Light in the evening, I had to go straight from Cronos to go and play REANIMAL, which is the next game from, excuse me, Tarsier Studios, who were the studio behind Little Nightmares, which Little Nightmares 3 is now being handled by Bandai Namco, I think, entirely. I don't know who the studio is they maybe got working on it, but they and Tarsier Studios are no longer working together. So REANIMAL is their new game. Definitely has to say a lot of the same DNA, but playing it with another member of the press in co-op with a couple of the developers again, including here we have it, David Mervick, who I believe is the narrative director and was as well on both Little Nightmares 1 and 2. It was really fun, again, playing another game like that, similar to Kumarn with UV, where it's again playing these sort of cute chibi-esque characters in this really horrifying, grim world. And what was really cool and set this apart was there's a lot more like of the sort of co-op puzzling going on, it felt like, as well as they were moving away from the sort of close-up, kind of like doll-like diorama feel of everything, and it felt much larger in scope of like the world around you and the spaces you could explore, but at the same time still keeping both the characters on one screen. So there's no like split screen that happens or anything like that. So it's kind of, you still kind of have to be careful with how you use the camera between you, because it kind of controls the space that you can see and explore. But yeah, I had about half an hour playing that. And again, a lot of it to do with just sort of figuring out how to get through certain doors, occasionally hiding at the right point while some sort of horrifying, grotesque human giant creature was sort of trying to find us some sort of caretaker type entity, and then eventually getting to like a chase sequence through like a train yard, going into through carriages, busting out of doors, climbing up the side of like a toppled down train, whilst he chased us, and yeah, it was fantastic. And it wasn't easy. Like we died a couple of times, got paused a couple of times during it, but yeah, we made it to the end, thankfully. And yeah, that was really, really fun. I again adored Little Nightmares 1 and 2. Looking forward to 3, which I got to play back at EGX in London last year, end of last year, and of course Kumarn. All look like amazing games. So really excited for all 3. So yeah, that's all my stuff on Friday. V, any games you want to highlight? Any others you have from that day?
I only played.
Oh,
Oh yeah, go.
Question about Cronos.
Yep.
Because I every time I've seen it, it's got a very Dead Space vibe to it.
Yeah.
Does it, like, from a mechanics gameplay type perspective, does it feel Dead Spacey? In terms of like how it handles and the kind of that sort of thing, because I that's what I'm really looking forward to it. But I think that's because my association is like, oh, it feels very Dead Spacey, because I love Dead Space.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I know you mentioned if you like Dead Space, you'll probably like it. But I'm just curious if you got that vibe from it.
I think the best way I could describe it, and as I say, I have limited experience with Resident Evil, but I do know enough about certain elements of it that I can use it as a point of reference. So in particular, the like item management and things like that. It's not exactly the same, where I know that with Resident Evil, it's a bit more like a jigsaw puzzle, as far as like certain things holding a certain amount of size, a certain amount of squares on a grid sort of thing. But you have limited amount of resources that you can hold at any given time to then craft healing items and ammo with. You can only hold so many items in slots of your inventory of your suit. So again, it's about managing that. So that feels like very quite like Resident Evil, alongside the fact that you will then find like keys, which you then use to open doors. And again, there's the whole thing of zooming in on the key lock, inventory comes up, select key, use key on door. Those sort of elements that you didn't have in Dead Space, but what you have from Dead Space is very much more the combat side of it, where it is sort of things like you have the stomp and the punch. Well, a punch is not what Dead Space had, but you use the punch to smash down barriers, but also smash small boxes, and then you can stomp on big crates, but then also stomp on enemies as well. So again, there's this interesting blend, I think, of like two of like third person horror's like strongest IPs. And I think with the world that they've created, the sort of the lore that they're bringing up, the sort of the time travel elements, the artistic direction of this blend of retrofuturism and like sort of Eastern European brutalism, which only like studios like Bloober Team can do so well because they're just so like entrenched in that kind of like culture and art and that sort of thing, especially when it comes to sci-fi. I think, and again, just down to the design of the Traveler character, like so Isaac Clarke, just the faceless protagonist in this fucking badass suit, just a soul like silhouette that you immediately just like, oh, that's the Traveler, like immediately. I love it. I think I'm very excited for it, based off of my experience with it, and I think that means that people who enjoy Dead Space and Resident Evil and other games like those will have a really good time with it. I think the only question will be, again, technical, because again, I was playing it in a controlled environment where they've got it set up on PCs and things like that. I was playing it on controller, but via PC, I believe. And again, if you are down with the sort of the gunplay as they've got it set up, how it works, and as opposed to how something like Dead Space or Resident Evil might work, see how you feel about that. But yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
V, what was your last one?
My last one on Friday was a game that I wasn't really following. I know a lot of people had been following it prior to Gamescom, and it was the biggest booth I think I went to, because it wasn't a booth, it was basically a whole fucking room that I went to for the entirety of Gamescom. But I got a 1.5 hour preview of Phantom Blade Zero, which was absolutely fucking banging. Like it was so good. Like I wasn't really expecting it because I hadn't looked at the game a lot. I know some people had been like questioning whether or not it's like a Souls like or that. It's absolutely not. It is a character action game. There are no levels. There are no souls. You don't lose shit when you die. You just get to play. I wrote a preview for it based on the preview, and the lead dev of the studio said it should feel like you're playing a kung fu movie, and it absolutely does. There's so many combos. If you parry someone correctly and then just hit them once you've posture broken them, like you have like you can use twin swords or there's a single sword, but you can like grab them and then like you do like this really cool like spin flip move and then like knock them into the ground, just stab them in the face. It's so good. Like
nice.
So I got to go there for 1.5 hours. Apologies if you saw me look like I skipped the queue, but I had actually I had booked an appointment. Like I didn't just walk in and be like, sorry guys, like I had booked an appointment. It's fine. I played it on a standard PS5 on a gaming monitor. The press appointments were supposed to be on big TVs on PS5 Pros. But I don't know who was in front of me. I would call out the other press people that were in front of me that took up an extra 10 minutes of their appointment to not fucking leave. So I had to go to a different bit. But that was fine. It ran super smooth in the standard PS5. And it has difficulty settings. So if you suck at games like that are that fast paced, you can put it down to the lower difficulty. So you can just enjoy your power fantasy. Or if you want more of a challenge, like if you're really into your Souls likes and stuff like that, you can put it up. I played it on the recommended difficulty, which is called Game Changer. And over the course of the 1.5 hours, you were allocated to play like the first chapter or the first half of the first chapter of the game. I think I died like 8 times. mostly to the first boss because I refused to dodge. I was just like, no, I'm going to wail on him, which was a terrible idea. But Addy, I think you'll love it. Like, it seems like absolutely your vibe. Like,
Right.
it's not, yeah, it's because it's not a Souls-like, but it plays like how you, in my brain, it plays like how a Souls-like would play if you were just shit hot at Souls-likes.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It's like all the enemies don't respawn and stuff when you die, which I think is great. I mean, and this is not to say I love a Souls-like, but you know, sometimes you just want to be a badass and go through the world. All of the traversal and stuff's like super fun. Like, so there's like little bits that you can climb up, but there's also like big poles and stuff that you can like vault off of, and chains that you can swing across big gaps with. You get like phantom weapons that you can equip different ones of, but you can use them to like smash through bits of the environment to get to different secret areas. Yeah, there's 3 bosses in the demo bit that I played. The first one, who is just this giant man with a giant hammer. And you have to dodge his attacks. I'm sorry, you just have to. But the second one is like this really agile thing called the Red Wraith. But she's super weak to parrying, so just get good at parrying. Don't worry, the parry window is significantly more forgiving than any parry game you've ever played. I think at a certain point I was just spamming parry and it was working, so it was fine. But then the third one is, was it the 7 stars? It's like, so it's 7 different enemies in one boss fight, but one main enemy. So you have to kill some of them, or he will just use them to like regen all of his health. So some of the attacks, which are so fun, like, so they all like, they all stand up in like a little semicircle, and then he like jumps over all of their swords as they're outstretched, and then it comes up, it's like a flashes blue for if you can do a special parry, and then you like ghost step into it and you can hit him for like massive posture damage. But if you miss that, then all 7 of them like rush you at once and just like do like big spinning kick moves and stuff, and I was just like, this is amazing. But also, on my first attempt, I got him into his second phase, and then immediately was like, of course he's got 2 fucking phases. Like, why did I waste all of my healing? Like, but the cool thing is that if you get the boss to the next phase, it restarts the fight in that phase when you get to it. So you don't need to struggle through. It's like, and it made a lot of sense from like a lore perspective, like in terms of immersion. So you're like, well, yeah, no, I killed 4 of these guys. Like in the second phase of the boss, there's like 3 of the guys that you haven't killed go up on big pillars, and the main boss, they like are puppeting him around with this red thread, and it moves in such an unnatural and really creepy way. It's like super fun. But it's just like, oh, it makes sense. They're dead. Why would they just res themselves to come back to like puppet this guy around? But yeah, it was very fun. I'm very excited about it. Absolutely dibs on the code if we get one. No one else get it. It's just for me. Like, I want to live my best kung fu movie life, like with my cool hat and my cool. So I didn't change my weapon once. Like, you can switch seamlessly between weapons and do really cool things. And I was just like, this is R1 spam the game, and I fucking love an R1 spam. Like, it was super good. It was like if I was playing Sekiro, but I was actually good at Sekiro. Like, I was just parrying things left and right. Amazing. I was just like doing big backflips and spinny kick moves and all this, and I was just like, yeah, this is great. Yeah, I'm having such a good time. This is what it would feel like if I was really good at the games that I like.
But definitely sold me on it. I'm so glad to hear it's not another Souls like. Not because I have a problem with Souls likes like you. I enjoy Souls likes as well. But yeah, I that game looked like the sort where I was like, oh, this is gonna be too hard as a Souls like if it's this fast. But yeah, it sounds amazing.
It's not too hard. Yeah, I feel like realistically, you could put it up to the top difficulty and still not have a like a really, really overly challenging experience. Presumably, I would have to not just R1 spam. It's not R1. It's on. It's on a different button. But like,
I don't even light attack
but yeah,
spam.
light attack spam occasionally. But you can just like, because you have attack combos, so it's like, but you don't need to actually learn them. You can just mash the buttons, and your character will just do cool shit, and it's like, yay! Like, it's like, I look so cool, I look so accomplished. I'm like, I'm doing fucking nothing. Like, to be fair, the guy who was sitting next to me, and I don't know who he was or anything like that, but he was having such a hard time with the first boss that I genuinely felt bad at a certain point, because he had been sitting for like half an hour before I got there, and I passed the first boss before he did, and he was fucking tilted. He was so mad. Like, he was like visibly and quite vocally swearing at the PlayStation, and I was just like, have you tried more R1?
Good on it.
This is like, have you tried more R1 spam? Like, I don't know.
Have you tried not sucking at the game?
But that's all I played on Friday, and it was super good. It was. I'm really excited for Phantom Blade Zero though. To go from being aware of it and being like, oh, that looks super fun, to being like, damn, I'm so excited for this. There's just so many amazing games, it seems, coming out of China. Like, and I'm here for it.
Yeah,
definitely. I think again, like Saturday and Sunday proved that for me as well, just with the variety of games coming from different countries as well. We'll kind of, I think for the next bit, we'll kind of use the time we do for like what we're looking forward to a little bit on the games that we've played over the Saturday, Sunday, and Adam can obviously jump in with stuff he's looking forward to as well, because otherwise
it's a whistle stop tour.
It's gonna be a very long episode otherwise. But yeah, I just thought again, because obviously on Saturday and Sunday we covered some smaller titles generally, and again it was open to the public, so there was a lot more going on, and we had a chance to kind of just walk around and just try things when we had time. So I thought we could just highlight a handful of those, because again, we will be doing articles, some separate on some of these things, and others we're going to do, I think, in a more like a group like highlights article of like, these are some smaller games that we thought you guys should hear about. So maybe we could do a couple of those. I would love to shout out first and foremost a game which again I had no idea about. It didn't know it existed until I saw it, called Muri Wildwoods, which is the best way I could describe it is a third-person power wash simulator, sort of like cute, cozy adventure game. I don't know if you can see the artwork there. That is the main character there. You have your little sort of super soaker, and you are a sort of little mouse fish kind of creature. A very sweet, cute design. The whole world feels very cutesy and cozy, lovely kind of color palette. But it's also, you've gone to an island and it's coated in awful muck, and some sort of horrible stuff is all over it, and you need to clean it all up and return it to its former glory. And you run around, you jump about doing that in the third person, being able to spray things until they shimmer and shine once they're clean. And once certain areas of the environment are clean, they'll then all kind of become more saturated with color, and like you'll get sort of particle effects and sort of just a much nicer, warmer, more colorful atmosphere as you progress through an area. And you use your water can to kind of power up mechanisms and stuff, and move about the environment as well, and find cute creatures and clean them off, and then you can pet them and things. And it was absolutely wonderful, and the devs were lovely, and hope to try and reach out to them and talk with them a bit more about it. I don't think there's anything, unfortunately, like a demo right now. I think there's a play test you can sign up for on Steam though, so worth checking that out. Maybe link that down below. But yeah, that one was probably the biggest sort of surprise highlight for me from Gamescom. That was really, really cool to find. Very happy to have found that. And the studio is also called, they're called Spelldozer. Again, make sure that's all there as well, but there'll be some sort of write-up about them. V, what about you? What's your first game from the weekend?
So it's a game that I didn't actually get a chance to play because they were supposed to be at the dev area, but my appointment was booked for the Saturday and the dev area closes. But I do want to highlight it because I also think that Addy would love it, but for very different reasons. So I got to talk to the developer from Wise Monkey Games about a game called No Stone Unturned, which is like a puzzle detective game where you play as Detective Cox, who has been hit on the head. So everyone there is British, but he thinks he's an American noir detective, but he's also an idiot. But I got to speak to Gareth, who is essentially like the lead developer of it and who starts up the games, who started writing murder mystery books and screenplays when he was 13 years old and got lied about being a 35-year-old man and sold them to people and is now a very accomplished writer.
Incredible.
But also did work with Aardman, the guys who make Wallace and Gromit.
Oh, wow.
And they are currently he's working with the Jim Henson Company on making like a Muppets version of the characters from No Stone Unturned.
Wow.
He was super fun. Like, so the game itself is like loads and loads of little mini games, and they're all he explicitly said that it was theft, like intellectual theft. So it's just like loads of things loads of little mechanics that he liked in other video games that he's made into little puzzle mechanics. And every single thing is so unfeasibly based on puns that I think that you will just have the best time in the world playing Addy. Like, so I will put you in touch with Gareth and you can talk away to him about his love of murder mystery and puns. Because he was super fun. We had a great time just sitting out in a courtyard chatting as he showed me through all the assets and stuff for the game. But yeah, it's like a little hidden gem that I'm really excited to play once it comes out, which I think is later on this year. So, and me and Addy can play it and we can talk about puns and how we're having a fun time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Sounds amazing.
And then one more I'll highlight quickly is a game I had an appointment for called Cat Me If You Can. You heard me correctly. It is a first-person cat finding game where you wander around sort of black and white environments with a camera trying to snap photos of cats. Indeed, just like the one you see on your screen right now, dear viewer. Thank you, Adam.
I win. Achievement unlocked.
There you go. Found it. Done. And yeah, so again, you walk around these sort of white environments and different like little sections, as it were, which have their sort of names prop up when you enter them, and it'll then give you how many cats are still in that part of the map, and there are other little secrets to try and find. Again, it sort of feels like you're playing a kind of first person, where's Wally, where's Waldo, whatever you want to call him, kind of book, except obviously you're finding cats and you can walk around the environments and stuff like that. And there's like, you may have to find a key in order to then use that key to open a door to get inside and find other things inside that. More cats, more than likely. It was very cute. Nice art style, because when you take a picture of a cat, the cat will then get its colors and you get the name of the cat on the picture. And you can go back and look through all your pictures, which was rather sweet. And again, just a nice light-hearted experience that definitely set itself off against everything I played the previous day, which was basically all horror and all horrifying in what it had on screen. So it was nice to play something that was a bit lighter and softer and calming. So yeah, wanted to shout out Cat Me If You Can, which comes from Cosmic Stag Games, is the name of the studio. So yeah, wanted to shout that one out. Any last ones for you, V? Because I know there's lots more, but again, yeah, I feel like we can't be here all day.
Yeah, I'll just quickly shout out my two other favorites.
Go for it.
So the first one is Aethermancer, which is a roguelike creature collecting game by Moirai Games, which are the guys that made Monster Sanctuary. It looks so good. It goes into early access at the 23rd of September. But if you liked Monster Sanctuary, you'll love it. It's taken like a really unique take on a roguelike form of it, and the fact that your monsters can die, but if they do die, you can rebirth them and they come back stronger. So you never have to worry about the fact, like in a roguelike, you lose everything and you have to start over from scratch completely. All your little monsters that you get and you give them their nicknames, they will stay with you, and when you rebirth them, they come back with their nicknames. It's super slick. They have a really fun mechanic in it that each of the monsters can basically learn like any move. So the mechanics of the game will adapt to your playstyle. So if you have, it's 3v3 battles. If you have a monster that you're using to apply like a lot of poison, then one of your other monsters, even if they're not like poison type, may learn a move that they don't normally learn, which allows them to do extra damage to poisoned enemies. So it helps you like build up this like round of synergies around your preferred playstyle, rather than waiting. That happens in quite a lot of roguelikes, to just get a run that is suited to how you want to play the game, or you adapting more than the game adapts to your playstyle. And also the people were lovely, and I got to do a little spin on their little gacha game um, to get a little pod, and I won a little booster pack of like monster cards, which I love because I also fucking love Pokemon, because I can't be stopped from buying stuff that's too expensive. And the second one that I really want to shout out is a game called Dead as Disco. I want to say thank you so much to Adam from Brain Jar Games, who managed to slot me in the Saturday after we couldn't make our appointment on the Friday. But good God, what a fucking stylish, amazing game. Like, it's so good. It's like a rhythm action beat 'em up. But as far as I could tell, because I don't believe I'm actually that good at games, it doesn't really matter how well you are at keeping on the beat. Your character will just stay on the beat, which just makes it so satisfying. We covered the demo for it for Demo Disc a little while ago, but I got to play a little bit more of it when I was there, including the first level all the way through to the boss fight, which has like a version of Maniac from Flashdance as the as the as the music for the full level. Oh, but it's so good. It's just like painted neon, like just the music is so good. The combat's super satisfying. If you do like a perfect parry, then you like do like flips up into the air and again just like beat people down. You have all your special attacks. Each of the levels has a different, so there's like 7 different idols that you fight, and each of them has a different musical motif. So there's like metal, there's like K-pop, there's just disco, there's like just all these different things. And you can upload your own music to it and play along to that. I don't think you have to be honest. The soundtrack is fucking banging. Like, but you can if you want, because there's a mode called Infinite Disco where you just play waves and waves, and you can build your own playlist and just sit and hit people in the face in this incredibly stylish game where you play as a man called Charlie Disco. And we will be having an interview up on the site soon with Adam from the team over at Brain Jar Games, because he was lovely enough to allow me to send him over some questions. But there's a demo available right now. If you like music and you like video games, I would suggest you just go and play it. You'll have a great fucking time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole bunch more that, again, if you go over to the site over the next week or so, we'll be getting up there. We got Time with Winter Burrow, game called Aona, Grim Trials, Lost Castle 2. Was that what it was called?
Little co-op roguelike guy. We love a little co-op roguelike guy.
Another little sort of eldritch horror a first-person game called Cold Abyss. A whole bunch of stuff, again, that we will try and do our best to cover and get to you over on the site. But yeah, Adam, what are you looking forward to?
Is it going to Gamescom next year with us?
With the Gamescom next year. I think it is. There's so much coming out this month, isn't there? There's loads of stuff. There's Helldivers, Cronos, Dying Light as well, the Beast, which I'm looking forward to. Lots to look forward to. There's also that Hiragami as well, which I'm looking forward to seeing any and all of these.
There's a lot.
Not the time to play all the games, man.
True, so true. But yeah, we'll obviously do our best to cover all these games as they come out this month. September is looking pretty crazy busy, and I would be remiss in mentioning as well, of course, that whilst we were over in Gamescom in Germany, another member of the team, Sean, was in New York City for let me get this correct. I think it's Play NYC. was the event name.
Yep.
I want to do right by the event name.
No, it definitely was that. Like Adam and I can confirm is the NYC.
Good, good, excellent. I was worried, but yeah, and he's got a bunch of articles up over on our site as well covering his time there. So yeah, as I said on the podcast when I announced it, Gamescom is going places, and hopefully will continue to do so. But yeah.
And if you missed anything from any of the showcases that were at Gamescom, Adam has you covered because he wrote them all up. They're all on the site. So if there's anything that we've not talked about or that was announced and you aren't aware of it, then Adam, while we were off going to a German man's birthday party from a man that we met in a hotel bar, Adam was working away, making sure you got all of the scoops from all of the showcases at Gamescom.
Yes, me, Fraser, and Nathan covered all of the showcases that we could. So there was 2 Xbox Ones. 2 is too many, but I can see why, because they were like 4 hours long. But because it was like an extended developer direct. So like they chatted with loads of devs from like Ninja Gaiden and all the different stuff, and like what they're achieving. You got 20 minutes with them, which is really cool because you got to like hear which is one of the reasons we like the dev direct is that you got to see what they were doing, what they're trying to achieve with the game rather than just a trailer. So it is quite nice to see. If you have 4 hours to spend watching them, if not, check out the summary articles because you can see what's shown and watch the ones you want to watch.
Exactly. Yep. See, loads of stuff over there on the Gamer Social Club site. So please do check that out at www.gamersocialclub.ca. And of course, yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, please drop a like, leave a comment if you have anything to share with us, and consider subscribing to the channel for more. Everything we talked about, again, as I said, will be down below. And yeah, that has been this week's episode. So thank you two for joining me today. Really appreciate having you here to talk about Gamescom and all things gaming. And of course, bananas. There was no DK at Gamescom, I'm afraid. Pokemon had the full reign. Oh, and Silksong, of course. Oh yeah, we saw Silksong. We didn't play it, but we saw it. If that means anything.
Exists. Yeah.
It's real. You know.
It exists, but I wasn't waiting in a queue for it. There was stuff to do.
No. We have other things to do. Eat pretzels.
There was a point and click. There was a point and click adventure game about dinosaurs. What do you want from me?
I'm only human. But yeah. So thank you, you two, for joining me, and thank you everybody for listening and watching. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Play some great games, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.